If you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn, you know that I announced today, well, I announced yesterday that I'm in Boston for the Elevate Derm conference, and that in the morning I'm going over the agenda for the conference day, and then at night I'm coming on my YouTube channel live to do a recap. So today we're going to go over, well, if you're new here, I do these weekly live updates. I usually go live on the weekend. When I can't go on the weekend, I usually come on Monday. But since I was really busy just getting ready for this trip, and I figured I'd make it up to you by coming on live, let's say Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, maybe Sunday from the airport if I have time. So I hope that you'll forgive me for not coming on earlier in the week. Today we're going to go over, we're still going to try to do a little bit of our usual. So talk about wellness, talk a little bit about social media. I do have a business tip for you that I thought of this morning in the conference, and I should have wrote it down. Maybe I did. Oh, it was a good one too. It might come back to me. We'll do health and wellness. I have some skincare products, of course. We'll go over this conference, diversity and dermatology, the DMV Derm group, the virtual Preceptor shop, and yeah, I think that's it because I need to get some sleep. As you know, there's been shenanigans without the airports. And so I didn't go to bed until 3 o'clock last night. And right now it's 10:12 p.m. Eastern time. And the first lecture is usually at 7:30. So I'm beyond tired and way past my bedtime. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Kimberly Madison, a Dr. Prepared Nurse Practitioner. And I use social media to just share my journey as a blueprint, as virtual mentorship, as a living case study, just to document my journey, but really just to inspire others because nursing school only teaches us really just really about patient care, and that's only one aspect of what it is we can actually do. So let's just get right into it. Wellness. So since I talked to you last time, did I show you my new sunglasses? I'll bring them over tomorrow, and I'm going to leave these little notes. But I have been wearing them. I got the ones from Deion Sanders, that line. They feel wonderful. I have been running in them. They don't slip even with sweating and my sunscreen. So I highly recommend those. I'll show you those tomorrow. I thought it might be good to just talk about wellness when you're traveling, like for conference, because they're long days. You have lecture, like I said, at 7:30. They can go way into like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. sometimes, depending. So they're very long days. And so it's really good to stay hydrated. You always want to go with, if you get cold easily like I do, I have a coat. They passed out a scarf today. We'll go over our little goodie bag here in a second. So yeah, just take care of yourself. It's a long day. If you need to, you might need to take a nap, but you came this far, you don't want to miss anything. And so I think it's just about have chargers. I didn't drink enough water. When I'm done talking to y'all, I'm gonna chug down some more water. Um, this conference, I don't think it will be a problem because I'll get home Sunday pretty early in the day, so I'll have time to rest. But like when I do diversity and dermatology, and I'm also like helping and working, um, I'm gonna, it's wise, especially if you do help kind of run conferences, to take off the next day. That would be my advice. And then as far as food goes, just kind of thinking ahead to make sure you have, well, if you're plant-based like me, always have to think ahead about access to foods that we eat that will give us energy. So yeah, since we're on the topic of food, I haven't found a juice place. I need to do that tomorrow. I need to find that out. But breakfast was mostly just like carbs, like most hotels. And so that's the thing. Remember, like no matter what city the conference is, you're spending the whole day in the hotel. So that's where being cold comes from. Having comfortable shoes. Um, yeah, having all your things that you need with you, and just having a game plan. Like, what is it you want to walk away with each lecture, each day, and the entire event itself. So having a strategy, which I have talked about before on the Mahogany Dermatology blog, I have a whole strategy for you. Let's do that. That in the description box. So yeah, And then let's see, I've still been running, still been lifting. I started doing these other videos online for weightlifting. And then I didn't get a lot of great sleep last week. I think I got one day of maybe 6 hours of sleep. I made a bunch of green juice though. I did really good with juicing this week. And my skincare compounded products came in on Wednesday before I left for my face. Um, I'll show you that tomorrow. Also, I didn't feel once I sat down, I realized I didn't have it. I did not want to get back up. But yeah, it's kojic and azelaic acid. It's from a different pharmacy than before. And so this one comes in a pump and it has like a gel base to it. Still creamy. And I wore it last night, well, this morning before I went to sleep. Yeah, it was nice. I'm happy with that one. So I think that's all the wellness updates. Yeah, and I start my morning just being more like in more silence and more just setting intentions for the day and praying and focus on like affirmations. That's like my latest thing. And I told you about the therapist. I just have to, my schedule is going to do a lot of changing here soon. And so once that settles down, then I'll be able to find like a good time to fit that in. But I'm just happy that I finally found someone. And so I'm happy with that. I still need to reschedule my primary care visit. I need to still find a new gynecologist. And actually, I think that's it. So yeah, because I saw the dentist last week, so I had a good bit. That was fine. I hadn't since I saw her the last time. I hadn't because I saw her 3 months ago, and then also in January. I hadn't done a really good job flossing, and so I'm a very like regimented, routine kind of person, and so I figured out where in my day that's gonna fit. And now that I've done that, I can get back on it. So that is wellness. I think that's the update for that. So the DMV Dermatology MPPA group, since I last saw you, I can't remember if I mentioned last week that we're expanding into Blacksburg, Virginia. So one of our members is out there and he reached out to me. He offered to partner with me to help us grow the group out there. He already has some of his colleagues that were interested in joining. So since then, they have joined. We've had a new few people join this week. I found a speaker, and actually, I found out some more people today because this trip is primarily for networking. And so, yeah, happy to have that on board. And so now the next thing will be picking dates and venue for the fall meet and greet. So super excited about that. That wasn't even on my agenda whatsoever, but I love the idea. And it's really perfect timing because my DMP mentee is out that way. And so just to be able to connect him with some people is awesome. Yeah, because he just moved there too. So really happy to see where that goes. Um, Speaking of mentees, I feel like I did a lot of mentoring this week. I met a lot of new people, a lot of conversations online, um, some video chats set up coming up. And then we had a young lady who we volunteered with last week at the Black Health Connect conference, who reached out to us via email and told me and Alicia that she, wants us to mentor her. And so we're setting up a lunch date and go from there. And so since I'm bringing it up with you all, and I have been getting a lot of inquiries, I would direct you to my virtual Preceptor shop. The link is in the description box. I created the nurse practitioner mentorship match, which is a downloadable ebook. It's fillable. You can use any PDF reader that you like. You download it. There's like 13 different questions. And it's just an electronic guide to help you identify who you are, what you want, and where you're trying to go and what kind of support you need. Make sure you understand the business of nursing versus healthcare, where you fit in all that. And it just is a great opportunity for you to be able to think about how you want to verbalize your needs and your value when it comes to a mentor partnership relationship. before we get together. This way, I have a great idea of who you are. You have a good idea of how I can best support you. And we figure out how we can best benefit from this opportunity because maybe I'm not even the right fit for you, right? And so that will help us, and you can repurpose it. And that would help us, and I can help find someone who would be a really good fit, especially since I just met Melanin in medicine, and that's like their bread and butter is establishing those relationships, mentorship, and connecting people in healthcare. So just like everything's really lining up so nicely these days. But yeah, the questions in the book can be repurposed for jobs, scholarships, preceptors, any opportunity where you would need to tell someone who you are, right? Because all these opportunities are going to want to know the same thing. Who are you? Where are you trying to go? And why is this a good fit? And it's the more practice you have with that, the better. Um, so yeah, so that's what I would direct you to, and then you can reach out and we can go from there. And it would be cool partnering with Alicia, who is coming on in August as a guest on the Melanin Initiative. She's really into virtual nursing, and she's actually headed to a conference in the fall in Toronto. Um, and so, yeah, I told her to come on the show and start talking about it, setting herself up um, as a subject matter expert and just helping her with her branding and stuff like that. Because if you follow me or hear anything I ever say, you are who Google says you are, and you determine who that is. And that's why social media is so important. And so every week I give a little social media tip, and that's the one for this week. Google yourself. What do you see? What do you want to see? Start working on that. One thing a day, just one thing a day. It will add up, and it will add up really fast. And what's important to note, not only have I experienced it, but someone I was listening to this week said the same thing. Um, Even like for these competition shows, like let's say Shark Tank and stuff like that, you can get in a position where you can get the support that you need to really grow and expand. But if you're not ready to handle that growth and expansion, that opportunity is going to fall flat real fast. And so, while you might get lost in the comparison of where someone else is and where you are day one, I promise you, it's going to go so fast. And while that time is going, and while you might be a little impatient and frustrated, not sure if it's going to work out, that's where you build your systems, you automate things, you identify the right characteristics, the people that you would want on board. So when it's time to get those people on board, you can just get them on board. And then everything you're building from the scratch, from day one, build it as if someone else is going to run it. You want to have that onboarding process in mind. So that's my social media tip. Man, my business tip. It wasn't even really my tip. Somebody said today in the conference, and I was like, oh, that's a great business. I'll have to think about it. Oh, I should have wrote it down. I'm surprised I didn't because I did start writing some notes down during that I know I wanted to talk about. And I did write some of them, but I didn't write that one. It was good too. I'll have to think about it and come back to you on the business one. But one I was going to mention last week um, is like post-operative support. Oh, and actually, so this is kind of yeah. Let's do this one. So, and let me write that down before I forget. Okay, so with this business idea, you're going to, the post-op one. I love this one. So you can be a registered nurse and start this business because you can just get a medical director, and then you just pay them a whatever agree on flat fee is usually the best. And then you can start your business today without having to go back to school. So you start a post-op. So actually, one of the best things to do is in your RN journey is get a job in plastics, establish a relationship there and a partnership, maybe 2 or 3 years, right? So You could do 2 years, and then during the third year, that's when you start building your business. And then in the fourth year, you transition into your business. Even the third year, you could be starting to do concierge and stuff like that, or weekends or nights, whatever. And so your whole goal is to partner with your provider, whoever you work for. Well, if it's, if you're doing plastics, let's say, you could really do this with any, it doesn't have to be anything with plastics. It's kind of derm related. So that's why we're going to talk about it. But you could do this pretty much with any specialty. Um, and then you're going to offer those like off-site service. So when it's plastics, you're going to do all that post-op care, and you can have like a little small team of of the nurses, and you have, I don't know what all would be required in terms of skill set. So maybe everyone wouldn't even need to be a RN. You might be able to get away with like patient care tech, depending on what you need and where you live, what the other roles are. But yeah, you start that business, you partner with your provider, and they're going to refer all their post-op patients to you. You're going to have a place for them to go, whether it's a hotel or you invest in some property and, use those rooms, and you just book them, right? Or maybe you can stay here with us, we'll take care of you, everything's fine here. Or we can come out to you, get you set up at home, get you comfortable there. You can have different options. So that's a business you can start, and you don't have to go back to school. And you can get some more certifications if you want. That's never going to hurt anything. It'll boost your confidence in yourself, in your customers, and in your provider that you might be collaborating with, your medical director. Um, yeah, and things are always changing. And then you might start off with that, and then once you get into it, your customers will tell you what other things they need, and even your medical director might identify some things that they need too. So that's your business tip for the week. Yeah, I want to thank all of you who've already purchased the Dermatology MP starter kit. That link is in the description box. You can head on over to the virtual preceptor shop and download that. So really surprised at how many people have already made a purchase. Yeah, I just really can't thank you enough for that. Really looking forward to your feedback. If you have purchased it, I ask you to please go over there and leave a comment and to 5 stars, and just let me know and let other people know how you found it helpful. And I really want to know what other services that you are interested in. If you've purchased the kit, at the end, I announced 2 upcoming products. And so definitely stay tuned for that. If you want to be notified when those are available or when we start doing the, I'm not sure if I'm going to do a pre-order or not. I haven't decided, but when I decide, I'll make that announcement. And if you go over to my contact us, I think is the tab on the Mahogany Dermatology blog, and you can join the email list over there, which that reminds me, I need to do something over there. And then what else? Oh, so the new article this week on the blog, speaking of the blog, is called Access to Dermatology Education. In that article, I pretty much give a call to action in nursing schools to add that basic entry level knowledge of dermatology education for nurses and nurse practitioners. It can certainly start in nursing school, just so that we can fill that gap both in the provider shortage department, in the patient wait times, but also in those people who decide to practice primary care and want to just be that bridge until someone can get that appointment. Um, and then in the article, I just lay out the benefits for that, who would benefit, and how the outcomes could improve by making these adjustments. So I invite you to check that out. And then, diversity in dermatology, we announced that next year we're going to Louisville, Kentucky, from Thursday, March 27th to Sunday, March 30th. We're going to be at the Marriott downtown. Yeah, so, Louisville, Kentucky, Churchill Downs, we're going to have a whole reception there. Bourbon, it's a home of bourbon. They have the bourbon trails there. Also known for its mint julep, the outfits, the attire, lots of fun things you can put together there. What else? Oh, the home of Muhammad Ali, the Louisville Slugger Bat, the museum. Even today, someone I met at the conference, we weren't even talking about that. He was telling us how he had taken his dad there for his 60th birthday as a surprise, and he said he loved it. So that was really good to hear. He said it's a really great place. I've been to Kentucky. I just haven't been to, and I went to Louisville, but not like as a tourist, really, just kind of passing through. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hanging out there. Registration open since I last saw you. So you can click on the link in the description box and you can register today. We look forward to seeing you there. So that'll be exciting. And I can't remember if I did that mentor. I participated in our Achieve Programs mentor session, but I think I've seen you since then. So if you, so I think I already talked to you about that. Okay, so yeah, now we're at Elevate Derm. We're in Boston. The conference is at the Westin, and like I said, it starts at 7:30 today. It kicked off at 6 o'clock. They had a yoga session, and then the first lecture was at 7:30 with Dr. Susan Taylor. She is the American Academy of Dermatology's president-elect for 2025. And 75% of the reason I came, I was so excited to hear her talk about CCCA. And she also talked about vitiligo and skin of color. I had the chance to meet her, and I even forgot to even say my name. She was like, "What's your name?" And I totally forgot. But it was just really great to talk to her, and I thank her for the opportunity because last year I emailed her to get permission to um, like write about her research on how come alopecia for the Dermatology Nurses Association's member-only newsletter, which is called Focus. And so they started a new feature last year. I was the first one to participate. I would love to throw another article in there, um, especially on one of the ones I heard about today. I would love to do that. Um, yeah, so in order to, so yeah, so I saw that study. I reached out to her to get permission to write about it. And then I basically summarized the study in the newsletter and increased that awareness and education when it comes to that article. So I had to get her permission. She gave it to me. She wanted to see the article before I submitted it, and she didn't have any edits. And I was so surprised and so excited. And I just really fascinated by CCCA. I just want to spread awareness about it. And today she was so fabulous, the presentation on all the different ways to approach assessment and diagnoses. But I thought the most important takeaway from that talk is that you should always, which I don't know that I thought this way before today or heard anyone say it this way, that you should always try to treat them, that you never want to say there's nothing I can do. And she had a very impressive before and after of a lady. I don't know, I can't remember how many years apart it was. Let's say it was 5 years. So in the first picture, she had there was a ton of hair loss, but then there was she had locks, and so there was a few locks, and she had styled it, and so they were just kind of scattered. But then the 5 years later, and I don't remember how old that lady was at the time of diagnosis. She was, fairly older. Um, anyway, so fast forward 5 years, and then she no longer used the locks because that's one recommendation. While the studies don't definitively say that certain hair care practices contribute, we err on the side of caution, especially when it comes to recommending people to stop using hairstyles that cause tension and stress. And so in the 5 years, she didn't have locks anymore. She had really luscious, moisturized, curly, natural curly hair. And it was full and it was it was very, very motivating. So I think that's the biggest takeaway when it comes to CCCA is to let your patients know that there is hope. And you know what? If you don't feel comfortable, if you don't have that kind of experience or background, refer them out, and you can be honest about, the challenge that it might present, but to still try. And then when she was done, a couple people, myself included, went to go meet her. But the lady, so when she was up there, she mentioned the importance of asking, which if you're Black, you already know this, but if you're not Black, maybe you've never heard it, that we don't like people touching our hair without getting permission. And it's quite part of our lived experience that I don't want to say we've gotten used to it, but we have all experienced where people without permission, or sometimes people we don't even know, come and touch our hair. And so she did a really delicate job of talking about how that's inappropriate and how you should get permission, even if you're in a clinical setting and you're the provider doing an assessment, you should still get permission. And so I thought that was fabulous. So let's see. I already went over the agenda on my social media platform. So if you want to hear about all the lectures, you'll have to go over there and watch that reel. The other one I wanted to highlight was by Dr. Peter Lyle. So he's out of Chicago. He gave some really phenomenal presentations. One he did on AD and atopic dermatitis and integrative medicine. And yeah. Oh, you know what? I wanted to go, before we jump over there, we're at 24 minutes. I just want to jump into my notes from CCCA, see if there was anything I just wanted to bring up to you. Oh, she did a really good job talking about quality of life and how it impacts people. She mentioned the NIH All of Us Research Program database. I can't wait to learn more about that because access to data is super important. And so I do come on here quite a bit and talk about DMP project ideas that are related, that could be derm related. And so having knowledge of this database is amazing. You know what I found interesting? So there's no FDA treatment and no published case-controlled studies. And I found that really interesting because when I was at the Black Health Connect conference, I met a young lady who had sickle cell. And then she got a bone marrow transplant, and now she no longer has sickle cell. But she started a support group. And so now she goes out and, she lobbies and she talks to legislators and groups like that. And compared to other anemias so sickle cell primarily affects Black people. And when you compare it to other types of anemia, there's a stark contrast when it comes to the available medications, particularly FDA-approved medications. And she asked, what was the reason for that? And they told her it was because, we're not organized. And so it's really, well, one, it's great to hear that if that's the only reason, because we can get organized, right? But it's also heartbreaking. And so when I heard Dr. Taylor mention there's no FDA treatment, it really just made me start thinking about all these different diseases that primarily impact Black people and the available treatment options. I'm going to be exploring that in more depth. But yeah, that definitely caught my attention. Let's see. It was so good. So many pearls, and she talked about her own treatment recommendations, and her approach, particularly being aggressive, which I can definitely relate to. I like to be aggressive with my patients, and I explain that. It takes a while I think it takes a little bit to get there, but I think if you have the knowledge and it's coming from credible resources, people with experience, then I think that can help you get you there a little bit faster. Let's see. Gonna hear a lot of good things about. We're already hearing a lot of good things about Jax, but she thinks they might become the gold standard in the future for CCCA. Yeah, we have all the different treatment options. So systemic therapies, topical supplements. I loved all the supplement talk today. Behavior modifications. I'm gonna go over to where the consensus. So she talked about a consensus study and what they all agreed on, as well as what they did not agree on. So there's no consensus as it relates to zinc supplementation, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, anti-androgenic supplements, spironolactone, calcineurin, and then screening for type 2 diabetes. There's just not enough evidence to support that. And then there's also not enough evidence to support limiting thermal heat practices or permanent dye. Certainly, these are great opportunities for further investigation if you want. You can always also just look at the qualitative data on that. So there's that. So yeah, that was really good. And then let's go back and see what I wanted to say, and then we'll go into the goodie bag. Oh yeah, so when Dr. Lyle did the talk on AD and integrative medicine, he talked about sunflower oil and hempseed oil and coconut oil. I didn't did I write down? He said some really cool things about sunflower oil. And so I want to look into that a lot. I do use sunflower oil. And I think I mentioned here that I've heard a lot of dermatologists talk about it, um, primarily for the high lino, linolenic acid, so fatty acid concentration being great for hyperpigmentation. Um, and like today he talked about coconut oil, which is great for has great antimicrobial properties. And so someone asked if it would be a good option for, was it pre-surgical? It was something. I didn't catch that one. I mean, I caught it at the time, but I don't remember anymore because there's so many things that happen after that. Um, but yeah, I'm going to look more into those and talk about those more in the future. But yeah, if you're interested, those are areas you can explore too. Yeah, and just some questions came up while I was listening to different speakers and kind of just my whole inquiry about the learner, like the learner experience, and when is it really about the learner, and when is it really about the speaker? Just those kind of things. So look at this. So this is we partnered Diversity in Dermatology. We partnered with JCAD. I told you, and so if you're a member, you get so you get we can help they can help you get published in their MPPA perspectives segment of the journal. And so they're here. They have a booth in the conference. Oh look, there you go. There's JCAD, and this is the MPPA perspectives logo. So we partnered with them, and I looked today in my email. They had sent the latest edition for, I think it was July, and there's an article in there on HS that I wanted to take a look at. And then when I opened it, there was it this one? Was it this one? Oh, so when I opened it, an ad that I created was in there. So excited. And then when I went through the exhibit hall and I went to talk to our friends at JCAD and I was thumbing, no, I think they pointed out to me. Then I got to see it in person and hold it, which is so cool to make something and see it in your hand. I love it. So yeah, this is really cool. So this is our cheap program that I was just talking about a little while ago. There you go. Yeah. So if you don't know, that's our 12-month online didactic program for NPs and PAs in their first 3 years of dermatology to help you build your medical derm foundation. Um, yeah, so you get a free textbook, you get access to online resources, which includes on-demand lectures, and then you also, in addition to that, have live sessions alternating between our esteemed faculty of dermatologists and MPPA mentors. Um, the following year, you get a discount to the conference, and then you get recognized at the Achieve program reception. You get our CEs, you get a certificate, and you get access to this network. We have some surprises coming up, so stay tuned for that. But to me, there are a lot of online kind of education, right? But I think what sets us apart are the topics that we talk about and the mentorship, right? This access to community. And I've talked about this before when I talk about entrepreneurship and business coaching. And, in the beginning, you think I'm going to do this all on my own, I'm going to save money, right? But at the cost of saving money, it usually ends up taking you more time. Eventually, you get to the point where your time becomes more valuable, that you're willing to spend the money for the convenience, for the quick results, for the efficiency, for the proven results. And so it's a mind shift because it's not just like, what am I paying? What are they charging? It's how much does it cost for me to invest? How much am I willing to invest? And I forgot why I went down that lane. Oh, and so it's the same thing with these programs. Access, so that's what it is. It's not just access to the information. When you sign up for these coaching sessions, these coaching like week-long sessions, it's not even so much access to the person who you've been following, who you're attracted to. You're attracted to their success, their style, whatever, right? What you're really interested in, what you're really paying for, is access to the community, because the person that has brought you in, this one person, they're one person. They have one lifetime of experience. But when you're part of a community, you have a ton of people who have a ton of life experience of varying levels, right? And that's those people are way more accessible than the person who brought you in, right? They're still very valuable. They still play a huge role, right? As either the visionary or the leader, whatever you want to call it, but it's the community. And so for me, the Achieve program sets itself apart because you get this community, and with people who combined have been doing this 20, 30 years, right? And they have experience in every part of the industry. And so you get direct access to them. And I love it. Can't recommend it enough. And I think you're going to love it too. So that's that. If you aren't familiar, this is a wonderful journal, JDNP, JDNPPA. This is a journal for dermatology nurse practitioners and PAs. Some of our DID family is on this. I don't know if they call it a board, but there's a bunch of them that work for the journal. I'm not going to say for the journal, with the journal. Um, so yeah, I want to support that. And yeah, they cater to us. Oh, I didn't know that. Dr. Margaret Babanich. I talk about her all the time. Oh, I wish she was here, because actually Douglas is here. He is the founding co-editor in chief, and then Dr. Babanich. Oh my gosh, she's the other one. Oh, okay, so she's the other co-founder in chief. Douglas has written a ton of articles too, and textbooks. A lot of the textbooks he's written. So he's here. Oh, I wonder if she'll be here though. So yeah, that's exciting. But yeah, this is a great journal. I recommend it. So let's look at the other things in our goodie bag. So we have the goodie bag itself. The theme, we're in the Northeast, so nautical themed, and even one of our receptions is nautical themed. And then there's a little bag on the inside, right? You can put all your sunscreen in there. We got to pick from scarves, so there's a blue one too, and we got socks, and we have our badges. So you scan these for the different lectures, and also when you go to the product theaters. That's how they keep track that you attended, so you can get credit for your CEs. So you can get credit for being there, so you can get your CDs. We got a Yeti. Oh, it has their name on it. Oh, I wonder if this is bigger than my other cup. This is cool. And then a pen, and it has their name on it too. And a little mountain. Next year. They're going to be in Utah. Oh, any reason I can go to the West Coast, I'm going to find an excuse. I came because it's close to where I live, and I wanted to see Dr. Taylor, and because I have a lot coming up in the fall, winter. But if I didn't have a lot coming up, I would have gone to the West Conference in Scottsdale, because I love me some Arizona. Okay, so let's look at this, and then I think that'll wrap us up for and I'll tell you about what I thought about today's events, and then we'll wrap it up. So I went to the Eucerin table, and they have a new, let me get it right, immersive hydration system combination. So let me get everything for you. Oh, I didn't realize that was in here. I thought it was, I guess it's not everything. Oh, is it everything? No, it's not everything. This isn't the whole system, but these are some good products, which actually I can't wait to try these. So they have I don't even know if all of these are new, but because when I came to the table, he was already done with his little speech, and then we started talking about Louisville. So this is their face gentle cleansing, hydrating cleansing gel. I'm definitely gonna use this myself. I wonder, I want to use this today and then I can tell you about, oh, I don't want to open it though. So once I finish the cleanser I have, I'll test this one out and I'll come back and let you guys know what I think. So yeah, that's the cleansing gel. I love gels, by the way, cleansing gels. I love the La, so I usually say La Roche, but I just heard someone who took French say La Roche. Now I don't even know if that's what she said. La Roche? La Roche? Anyway, she didn't say La Roche like I normally do. Then they have an AM immersive hydration daily lotion, broad spectrum SPF 30 sunscreen. It's a lotion, but it contains sunscreen. Hydrates skin, improves the look of fine lines and wrinkles. It's a multi-weight hyaluronic acid and antioxidant complex. Sounds really nice, actually. Usually I give these things away, but I want to try these. Especially I can kind of get away with it in the summer. In the winter, I wouldn't even dare just because of my atopic dermatitis. They're so sensitive. And here's a night cream. Oh, I'm definitely using this one because I'm almost out of what I have. Oh, yeah, that's a definite. I don't even need to keep these boxes for the sake of travel. Oh, then they might explode too. Yeah. I don't want any surprises. And I don't want to lose any products. And we have sunscreen. So I've actually seen this before at another conference, but I don't remember. Something about it surprised me today. Anyway, this is their sensitive mineral face zinc oxide protection tinted sunscreen lotion for the face. And it's blendable tint for all skin tones. And we proved that today because actually I put it on my hand, which you can't really see, the lighting in here is not that great. And then the guy who was at the table, he was a much lighter skin tone. You could even say we were he wasn't all the way fair skin, but it blended in so nice on him too. I can show you. I kind of did a little too much earlier, so I'm kind of nervous. Well, this was the tester I was using earlier. Did it again. That's the same amount. So that was my face. That would be fine. But so yeah, if you've never used mineral, don't be scared because it does look like this in the beginning. Okay. Now some of them will stay like that, but look at that. Look how quickly that blended. Now I will say, even though the match, like the match is perfect. But because I know my skin, I know there's something there. See, look at that. Even in the bad lighting, you can tell, right? But I will say it's a very good match in terms of color. It's just that the finish is a little, for me anyway. But I would wear it like to go, like I told you, the ones that aren't an exact, like to my liking, I'll use them when I'm going to go running or do things outdoor. So I still find a utility for them. And then your tried and true Aquaphor. I must say Aquaphor 100 times a week. And then one of the other tables was kind enough. They were promoting one of their products. And then this is the vehicle that they use to mix the product. So this is like a moisturizing cream. And they were kind enough to give me that so that I can get, test out the actual like vehicle itself. Because if I'm really happy with the moisturizer, the idea is that I'll be really happy with the product. So really appreciate that. Yeah. And so overall, I just thought today was really great. The lectures were really interesting. Oh yeah, putting skincare products under the microscope, that was really fun too. And actually, I really appreciated the molecular differentiation of dermatologic therapeutics. It was kind of like it was organic chemistry, and I appreciated that level of detail. And also how he pointed out the importance of doing that. Oh yeah, I know we had at the evening we went to the fair. Where did we go? Is it Fairly? That doesn't sound right. So after the events were over, we had by the way, we have an app that we're using to just for like agenda and to see who else is in attendance. I wanted to go back on there to see if we can talk to each other, but you can leave questions on there for the speakers. Oh, the Fairmont Copley Plaza, Boston. Beautiful, beautiful venue. We had our evening reception there, appetizers and drinks. So we started off with breakfast. Then there was a lunch. There was the Mingle Zone sponsored by Insight. So there's beverages and snacks, soft pretzels. Mm, and you could like sit down, relax, charge your phone, charge your devices. And then in the evening, we had the dinner. Um, yeah, and then so before the dinner, we had the reception, and then we walked back over to the hotel for the dinner. Um, yeah, and the reception was really nice, beautiful ballroom, drinks, appetizers, beautiful appetizers. No, nothing plant-based though, so I didn't eat at that event. I mostly just did networking. So, and it was good. Oh, I met some really nice people with some really great conversation. Some of it was advice that I definitely needed to hear, and really appreciate. Oh, look at this cute little one. This is their Advanced Repair Cream, non-comedogenic, meaning it won't clog your pores. I'll leave that on just because everything explodes in the airplane. I wonder if this is for the lips. It looks like it. I've never been a fan of sticking my finger and then putting on my lips in public, like the Carmex ones, but super popular, certainly, amongst the public. Oh, you know what? Let's leave this one out. I'm going to need that. Although I wasn't crazy about the smell. And then, of course, I picked up a bunch of brochures. Yeah, and we're playing a little bingo game. So we go to all the exhibitors and engage, and then they give us a little, they sign it off. And then at the end, there's going to be some giveaways. Oh, it tells you right there. And you usually have to stay till a certain, they tell you like when you need to be present because they're only going to give you can only win if you're present. So friends, that's a wrap. We're at 50 minutes and I need to go to sleep. So in the morning, I'll be on my other social media platforms going over the agenda for the day. And then I'll come back tomorrow and recap. Today was kind of like a combination of my normal weekly check-in and then the review. But I'm pretty positive that the rest won't be this long because we're just going to talk about the conference. Tomorrow we start at yoga's at 6:15. The first session is at 7:30, and then it goes all the way till 10 o'clock because we have a networking event. And then Saturday ends a little bit earlier. Oh, Dr. Mona's here. Why didn't I see that before? I think I had seen it. That's why I need to get some sleep. Sunday, no yoga. Still starting at 7:30. And then ends at 11:30. So pretty good timing actually. And so that will help me get home and get ready for work on Monday. I already did my laundry and the house is already clean. So mostly just be food prepping. So yeah, that's some other things to think about when you're going to travel for the weekend, like this long. Because even though it starts on Thursday, some people don't come in till Friday because they, just continue to work so they can take off less PTO. So some people do that. But yeah, if you're gonna be here for the whole thing and it starts at 7:30, typically you're coming in on a Wednesday. So that's long. That's a long time to be away from home, and then you're just gonna turn around and go to work on Monday. So that's something to think about in advance. And that's all I have. If you stay this long, say Beantown in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Remember, if you're here, don't forget to say hi. Maybe we can take a selfie.